Welcome back to part 2 of using the new Your Own Way project playbook. So I created this design or something very similar. Let me get that. And so this is part 2, me creating this, and I used different papers than what they used. And since the designer created this to be a one-page layout and I used different papers, I ended up with extras. And so if you watch part 1, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I said that I would save these and be able to use them again, so I am. I'm going to create something similar to make a 2-page layout to go with this. And I was thinking what I would start with is, I love this orchid paper, and then maybe this one. Oh, I have a backing of a pop square. I always call them pop dots, but they're really pop squares, aren't they? So I thought I would use this one and do the same border that we created here, and then use these leftover pieces. And I even found, because I don't like to waste anything, and then I also found one of my scraps from this one would kind of coordinate, and I like that shape too. So we'll see how that works out, and then we have no waste from changing the papers on the other project. Okay, so first thing to do is I am going to cut a frame out of this one, the same as I did with the other one. I'm going to cut an 1.5 inch frame all the way around, and I'll be right back. There we go. And I explained on my other video that I did this off camera because I'm waiting to get my Creative Memories trimmer in March. The new one's supposed to be coming out in March, and then I'll be able to demo on that because it's really slick how the Creative Memories one can cut out a frame like this. But anyway, I cut an 1.5 inch all the way around, and then we are going to do the same thing I did on the other one. I'm going to use the Wave cartridge. So this comes with the, or it goes to the Border Maker system, and this is the Wave punch. And so the way this works, in case you didn't see part 1, this is part of the Border Maker system, and so is this, and then you get your individual cartridges. Now if you ordered the system, it comes with the picket fence one, which is really cool too. I used that on another video. But the way this works, so you're going to put your cartridge in here, and it snaps in place, and you want these 2 little prongs facing out, because they're what's going to go in these tracks along the way. So what we do to put our paper in, we're going to take the paper guide that's underneath, bring it around, and snap it into place. And then our paper, our 12 by 12 paper, will fit in there perfectly. You lift up this little blue arm, and this is what holds your paper down. There's a magnet on both sides, so it holds it very firmly. So your paper's in place, and then you're going to go ahead and get your guide out of the way so it folds back under and it snaps in. So then you are ready to cut your border. And like I said on the other video, this is intended to make borders, not necessarily frames, but it worked really well. So here's to another time of it working really well. So this will fit right into those notches, and you'll feel it go up against the Border Maker system. If you know, it feels like it almost could there, but it's still not in there tightly or up against it. So you want to make sure it's really in there and in the proper groove. And then go ahead and punch down, and then move it down till it really goes in. And then move it down, and then move it down, move it on down the line. I guess we could make a song about that, couldn't we? And then one more. Okay, so that is our lovely, and we just got a little piece there to snip off. Probably operator error. Okay, and then we're going to flip our paper over. We're going to need our guide again to make sure we get it square. When you're doing it to make a frame, and not all of these will work as frames, you would just have to try on scrap paper first, but it's not going to be full size anymore. So see, it doesn't reach all the way, but it's held securely with that. Get our guide out of the way and then go back to our punching right there. Fits in the grooves, all the way into the grooves. And you can feel when it definitely engages. And one more on this side. Okay. And you see these little pieces that it leaves over? Aren't they lovely? And I keep them in a little bag, and we'll use those again. Okay, let's get our guide out. Right, so I really like how that turns out. Now we got some little pieces they kind of look a little funky up there. We could trim those off, kind of round it there and there. There we go, never even knew they were there. So I'm gonna put this down on my frame. I was thinking, so here's what we had left over, and if we look here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but we only have 5 here, which is better. You don't always need them to be the same. And I thought if we fan them out, and we've got the sun going on here, the sun here, and then that circle. So I was thinking we want to keep them going in that circular motion where you pretty much got this part up like that. And then we could do one like this. And then maybe we could put this one. See, isn't that cute? I mean, that's not an accident, but it was left over. It was intended to be scrap, but I think it'll work in here. And then we probably want this maybe over here somewhere. Like that. And then this one on the other one kind of went like that. Gives you that little bit of a shape. And this isn't going to be seen. We're going to cover that up maybe with one of those. You know what? The whole thing's got to kind of, if we're going to do it this way, it's got to go up. Yeah. And then I thought maybe one of these, just do a 4x4 photo mat. And there, like that. Let's separate those some. I kind of like how that's turning out. So then we have, yeah. The photos I had for this, I've got this one where I could crop it down a good bit, and it should fit in that one. And then I was thinking, because we have the sunset in the other one, what about like taking this, is pretty there. See, I don't want to cover that up. I didn't really want the sunset in the same place. I might have just put the sunset without that, no background. Because I was thinking we put the sunset up here, our photo there. This could go, this could actually like, you know, come over here. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. If we want to do a little bit more of a mirror, we could have this over here. And then this, I need to trim off a little bit more of that, could come over here and be our little journal thing. Have the sunset up there. And me and my friends in here. I think we're getting somewhere, and then we're going to be putting stickers and stuff. So let me get this part down. I do believe, now this is pretty centered, but I kind of, let's see, maybe do I want it more centered or do I want it, yeah, you know, this is so centered. I think I better do this centered. And I think that's going to look more balanced, really. To do that a little more centered. And then, and that needs to come over like that. Give us some difference there. Yeah. More like that, fanned out, sort of like a sun, sort of like that one is. And then this would go here because we got our one over there. And we'll put some journaling in there. And then, actually, we probably want the sun up there. Since we're doing this way, why not? I mean, you know, where'd I put the sun? Sunset. There or there. Yeah, well, you know, yeah. And if I put a little bit higher, then it's not matchy. It's not like trying to duplicate that. Now, here's another thing. So these are in the same corners. Let's don't do that. How's that color-wise? Yeah, then these are in opposite corners. I kind of like that better. Better. Okay, so I'm going to start putting these down. I'll just speed everything up. Alright, so I use the repositional tape runner because that's my favorite to use. So I use that one, and we can pull things up if we need to. After I got those down, I realized we really have more space over here. But I didn't necessarily want to do it exactly the same as that one. So I'm thinking about, even if we don't do that, what if we put our sunset down there, have the picture of us there, and then just put some, see what we can do for decoration wise. Well, I'm back. It's another day. I got interrupted in the process, and so I have no idea when this part 2 is going to be able to come out. But anyway, we're on another day now, and I'm going to try to complete it. Where we left off, as I was saying, I'd like a border across here. It's just too much empty space there. So, and I could eventually put a title up there as well. But what I was going to use, these are fairly new. This is the border cutting patterns, and so they work with your cutting system, the 3 blades, and we're going to give this a whirl and see what we can put up here at the top. So I'll move this aside, and they come, you have your peak, this one's the peak, this is the zigzag, and then over here we have curves and ripple. So I think for this project I'm going to use the ripple one, and I've got I think this paper would look good on there. So it's a scrap, so it's not quite 12 by 12, but I definitely want the 12-inch side. So I'm going to put it on my board this way because we're going to do our cutting this way. So I want the 12-inch to my left here, if that makes sense. Okay, so I think I'm going to use the ripple, which is the curviest, and this just fits. It's really cool. It just fits on your mat, your 13 by 13 mat, and slides up and down. Isn't that amazing? Okay, now to get, of course, you're going to have both ends curved. You wouldn't have to, but for this one I want to have them both rippled. So you need to get the edge into a ripple, and if you use the blue, so if you look at your guide here, the blue on the outside with the blades on the outside, the blue one is going to be the furthest out, which is what I would want to just cut the shape, and that will waste the least amount of paper. So I'm going to take my blue blade, okay, take my blue blade, and you've got your 2 little feet right here that sit down in this groove, whichever groove you're going to use, and it rotates, so the blade spins within it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I've got the feet down in here, and if you don't, you can feel it and you'll get resistance if you don't, and then you could also possibly hear your paper tearing. But I've got them down in there. I'm going to start a little bit off the edge because sometimes with this designer paper it's a little thinner. If you try to cut it starting at the edge, off of the edge, it can tear. So I'm going to go up and then come back down. And you just want to hold it nice and firm. You know, hold your template down, there we go, your pattern, hold it down. And then we just took off this very little bit. And you can obviously use that as a topper on something else. Now, what we'll do next is we want to figure out about how wide we want the ripple. Nope. I'm actually doing the curve, not the ripple. I take that back. I'm doing the curve. The curve has the most wave to it. I was just calling it the wrong thing. So we're going to put our pattern, our template back down on here, and then you can get an idea of where it's going to be. We're going to move it down so we can see about where we want to do our cut based on how wide we want this to be. And I'm thinking if we move it about down to there, and I use that blue line, I might want a little bit wider because I'm thinking I might put another one on top of it. So I don't know how well you can see on the camera, but the blue line is running right here. And so you can see about how thick that will be. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to leave it here, and we're going to use our blue blade again. Same thing, get that down in the feet, start a little bit, you know, into your paper already, go up, and then back down. It didn't kind of like it that time when I did that. And then I feel like it's coming off. There we go. Let's make sure I got it everywhere because I kind of feel like I missed some spots. Maybe not. There we go. Yep, just the very edge. So then this is what we end up with. Now, oh, that isn't that thick, is it? because I was going to put this on here, and then I was thinking about putting an even thinner one to accent it a little bit. Or maybe we can make one thicker, and that could be in the center. No, I think I want I think I want a print. Like I had this one, this is spare, and I was thinking put a thinner one in there. I have enough of this. I think I'm going to make a wider border so that then I could put one maybe this size inside there. So sorry about that. I mean, we're just playing and learning as we go. Okay, so let's see. Let me get this width again. So this is about a ½ inch. So let's make it maybe 3/4 of an inch. I don't think we want quite an inch. So let's get our little pattern here, our template, back on the curves. And of course that's way too big. About there. That's going to give us, you can still see on here measurement wise, that's probably going to give us, if we wanted to be exact, what we could do is move our paper all the way up to the edge there. And then that way we could see, because we had said the other one was a ½ inch, and that was a little bit too thin. So let's put this back and see. This would be too much. That's going to give us an inch and a 1.25 anyway. So let's move up to about, let's see, that's going to give us a little bit over an inch. So that's still a little bit too wide. That's going to give us here about what we want. Because now out here it's a little bit more than an inch, but when you get into the deepest cut, it's about a 3/4 of an inch there. So that's going to still be that much wider. See where our blue line is? That tells you that's going to be that much wider, which is about right. And I'll tell you the truth, I might back up just a smidgen. There we go. But that's how you can tell where it's going to cut. So we're going to go ahead and use our blue blade again. Uh-oh. That was a little bit of operator error. I had moved it a smidgen before I went back over it. So that's good advice. Don't move it until you're sure the whole thing is loose. All right, so I think I like that size better. We'll put this down here, and then that gives us some room to make a thinner one over top of it with something patterned. And I think that'll be a nice little accent to it. Let's go ahead and put this pattern down that we want to use. And of course our 12-inch size is this way, so we have to go this way because we want to cut down the side. All right, there we go. So we want it to be thinner than this. And this, if we put it to the edge, that's about 3/4 of an inch. So we will want this one to be the ½ inch like we had almost gotten, or we did get the first time. All right, so we want this one to be about a ½ inch. So let's put our guide on here. You just lay it down till it matches. If you can see the middle pieces there, these middle pieces line up so that you can use your guide. So that is definitely too far out, obviously. So we want to go down till our cut is going to be, let me find my ½ inch. So our cut is going to be about a ½ inch. That looks pretty good right there. Let's see how that does. And it would still be our blue one we were looking at, our outer one. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do my edge. Let's do our edge. I got more up than I wanted to. So there's our edge. You were probably all yelling at me, no, you didn't get your edge started first. And then move this up. Okay. And then we want to put this, we want to get about a 1/2 inch of a border. Okay. I'm just getting pretty close right there. Back it up just a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's going to look pretty good. We can always get our piece, wherever it is, here it is. We can always get our piece here and just make sure that's going to be smaller. And it is, because this one goes up to the red line. Yeah, it's going to be a good bit smaller. Okay, so let's get our blue blade. Hold it down tight. There we go. So let's see how these match up. Nice. Yeah, I think I like that. All right, very good. So I love that little system. I've just started playing with it, so you can probably tell. I'm not quite an expert at it yet. But anyway, I like that. So we'll go ahead and put this down. I would say it goes about right there. And right there. So I'm going to put this on first. Get my tape runner. And I love the repositional tape runner, is my favorite by far. Isn't that cute? And then put that down. And I have a sticker cluster here that, because I've already made up some clusters out of, let me show you what I made these out of. I've made some clusters out of the various stickers that came with this set. And I think this one, the colors are all perfect for this. Just plop that in the center there. And voila! We have our second page. So that's going to go with this one. I already have in a page protector. So there is our double page layout. Let me know what you think of it. And let me know what you think of this tool. Isn't that amazing? Thanks for watching. See y'all later.